Alright guys, before we start the video, I just want to let you know that AEW has confirmed that they're moving up to the starting time of All Out on September 20th. The show will now start at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and noon Pacific Time. It will no longer be going head-to-head with WWE WrestlePalooza. However, even though it still feels like competition because they're, pretty much on the same day, I just want to let y'all know that that's the change and that's the timing is that it's going to be, it's going to start at 3 o'clock. And so, while WrestlePalooza starts at 7. So it is still competition, but, the good thing is you get to watch AEW early and, you get to watch WrestlePalooza late. So whichever you want to do, either way, you're going to watch, both platforms and, either way, you're going to watch it, and depending on the timing, right? So, but usually AEW starts at 3 anyway. So, starting late wouldn't even be an option for us because, we obviously can't stay up past 7. But since it's WrestlePalooza, obviously you guys going to stay up for that. So, because that's on y'all. So, but I just want to give y'all that update. But we're going to go ahead and get started with this video with CJAX where he's talking about all that in this video. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this video.
Surprise, surprise! Your boy Triple H, your boy Triple Ford, the game. We're gonna give you some bad booking. Triple H has been exposed yet again by the WWE. Okay, I can't stop thinking about Punk, and I can't stop thinking about Randy. Now that we're done getting the jokes out of the way, okay, the fact is this. Obviously, at WrestlePalooza, or at least leading up to it, it's been officially revealed that AJ Lee is going to be returning. Now, the wrestling, all the wrestling news sites have said this. Obviously, we noticed on Raw, CM Punk basically said that, SmackDown's in Chicago, and it's tremendous, and yada, yada, yada. They're all leading it up with the Becky Lynch and CM Punk segment. They're clearly leading up to an AJ Lee return, and it's going to be AJ Lee and Seth Rollins, AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, okay? A mixed tag match will probably take place at WrestlePalooza. There's a couple problems with this that we'll get to in a second, but the point is WWE at WrestlePalooza, since it's the big first ESPN pay-per-view, people are spending $30 for it, etc. The point is this, they also want to counter-program AEW, which AEW has All Out happening on the same day as WrestlePalooza on September 20th, I believe it is, and basically WWE wants to flood the competition completely out. Obviously, WWE at base is going to get more views than than AEW, no matter what. Because they're a way bigger company and all of that stuff. They have more fan base, etc. So there's no need to really do all this stuff. But the point is, you would normally think, hey, let's flood them out with great content, great matches, engaging storylines, a multitude of matches, and making things really feel special. You get me? But instead, what they're going to flood AEW out by is using a bunch of nostalgia and cameos. So you're basically going to have a situation similar to Marvel or DC at this point. Mainly more Marvel, obviously, on that, but that's not the point. The deal is that they're basically going to have Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. So those are two big legends of the industry, nostalgia, all that stuff. CM Punk showing up alone is nostalgic in a sense. Obviously, you're going to have AJ Lee returning, which is going to be absolutely massive. And then you're also going to have a situation where Cody Rhodes is returning to have his WWE Championship match. Quick side note as well, isn't it very embarrassing and it kind of stinks, man, the fact that AJ Lee, this return that many people have been looking forward to for a long time, and it still is going to be very exciting. Obviously, it's going to get a massive reaction from all of us, most likely. However, the fact that WWE is just revealing basically that she's going to come back is just insane to me before she even comes back, man. Like, you could have had so much mysteriousness and intrigue, but they're just openly, blatantly, basically telling you she's coming back soon. And I just think that, if you left it as more of a bigger surprise, it would have hit a lot harder, but I don't know, man. The fact that they're just telling you in the open shows you that they're just here for money and views, and they want to flood out AEW, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all that it is. They don't care if you want to be surprised by it, if they want to build up to it correctly, it doesn't matter. They're just going to tell you she's coming to the show, bro, and that's basically it, man. They want the views, they want the money. I understand that it is what it is, I guess. And then there's even rumors, as always, for these big PLEs, that The Rock will show up because it's the big first show on ESPN, and obviously The Rock is one of the leaders of the company and one of the owners, I'm pretty sure a partial owner as well, so obviously he's going to probably have a chance that that he will show up at WrestlePalooza. They're doing all of these big cameos, these big appearances in order to flood out AEW, which AEW was not going to get more views than them regardless. So it just goes to show you that WWE has lost faith in Triple H's booking. They already have lost faith. We already know this because that's why they book Shock Factor at the end of every show to make you try and remember something about the show, because they know that nothing memorable or exciting or engaging happens during any of these shows. But as per usual, because Triple H can't book, they have to hit you with more Shock Factor and more Shock Factor and more nostalgia and more returns and cheap pops, because it's the cheap pop booking era. Okay, that's not the Paul Levesque era. It's the cheap pop era. So that's why at WrestlePalooza, you're going to be charging $30 extra, obviously, to get the show, but then you're also going to be showing a bunch of cameos. And the funny thing is, all of these cameos are taking place, and it's literally showing to you that Triple H, for months and months and months, as they've had to counter program AEW each time, none of the shows they've counter programmed AEW with have been good, literally at all. You get what I mean? Like, remember when I think it was All In this year, and WWE did their Saturday Night Main Event on All In, and their Saturday Night Main Event with Goldberg's retirement match, they cut off his retirement speech. The show sucked. They faked the Rollins injury, and that was it. The show was absolute garbage. You get what I'm saying? I think Cena fought R-Truth too on that show. Like, the show...
No, that was before that.
Was absolute trash. It goes to show you WWE head to head. I'm not going to sit here and say that, Tony Khan is some amazing book or anything like that, but Triple H is not good either. And at the end of the day, when they're going head to head, it's a 50-50 at this point. With, honestly, most of the times they go head to head, Tony Khan is booking a better show.
You motherfucking right?
So the fact is, Triple H is actually sitting here. He can't make good shows. He can't make compelling week-to-week TV. I mean, neither can AEW, you know what I'm saying?
Cap.
Consistently either, but you get the point. Triple H can't do that, so they have to counter AEW not with a better product, not with better booking, not with better build-up and better storytelling and better character work, and actually, building hype and intrigue for a show and the quality of that show itself. They are going to have to counter with nostalgia and cheap pops. That tells you everything you need to know about this company and the current state of it and the current state of its booking. You can look back and you can go through every single show this year. I already showed you guys the graph. The PLE viewership worldwide on Netflix has been declining and declining and declining all throughout the year. Like ever since the beginning of the year at Royal Rumble. Sorry.
If you guys want to screenshot this, you can. I just want to pause the video so that way you guys can screenshot it, look at the viewership. Only biggest one is the Royal Rumble. Everything else is declining. But I just wanted to show you that, this is kind of old, but hey, I wonder what website he found this from, because I can't find it on my end. Y'all can comment down below, let me know if you recognize the screenshot. Comment down below, let me know where is this from, what source this came from. Comment down below for the link so that way I can click on it, all right? Let's continue.
Then at Mania, and then ever since then, it just keeps going down and down and down because nobody cares. Nothing meaningful is happening on these shows. Nothing important is happening on these shows. So they'll load in a Brock Lesnar who we haven't seen since SummerSlam. We might see him on SmackDown this week with Cena, but they'll load in Brock Lesnar, of course. But again, outside of that, we haven't seen him do anything. He'll show up at WrestlePalooza. He'll probably disappear for another month or two after that. You'll have AJ Lee come back. We don't know if this will be her last match or just one of her final matches. And this is what they do. They have to counter with cheap pops because that's all they can do. Because WWE has been around for decades and they have so many lineage wrestlers and a bunch of legends, and they can find ways to generate pops and excitement by pulling from these legends. That is all that they can operate on. It's very, very sad that this is what it's become, but at the end of the day, we have to accept what it is. We have to walk away from what was and walk into what is. And what is that this company is failing. The viewership goes down every show, and they're basically telling you to your face, we do not care. We will draw on nostalgia. We will draw on cheap pops in order to get our point over, or get our show over, or gain some viewership. Because we know that currently, for example, let's just be honest about this, right? If Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and John Cena, let's just say John Cena doesn't make a show, right? All three of them do not make a show. Well, actually, no, we'll put Cody on there. Let's just say Roman and Cena cannot make a show. If you operate with your top people on that PLE, being Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins, and let's say Rhea Ripley, if those are your four that you're going to center a show around, WWE knows that the viewership and the actual intrigue for that show are not going to be that high. Whereas if you added Cena on there, or you added a Roman on there, or you added a Rock being advertised for it, the intrigue would go through the roof. And the reason why is because the talent that WWE has outside of their part-time, legends of their industry, they have absolutely nothing wrestling available. Nobody cares if Seth Rollins can defeat LA Knight for the 15th time in a world championship match. You get what I mean? They cannot operate off of what they actually have, so they have to pull from older talent. If you actually feel, just imagine this, right? This is hilarious when you think about it. Imagine if WWE had a actual card for a PLE that consisted of every single person they had under the age of 40, and look at what they would have. It's a similar thing with AEW. I mean, you know, some of their talents, you know what I'm saying, are above the age of 40 as well, of course. Some of their top guys.
I knew he was going to bring that up, but I mean, dude, you got your future talent right here. And then you also got Holly Cameron. So that's your future talent right there. All right? Like, even though it's mostly women, you know, but you got two men right there that are your future talent. And right now, Kyle Fletcher's going up. So, you know, Speedball, you know, he's in the tag team division right now, but I bet you if he goes solo, he'll probably do a little something. But, you know, Thekla, you know, she's going to get her title match against Toni Storm. I know it for sure. She's going to get her title match at All Out. So, you don't got to worry about that, you know. And then, of course, you know, Megan Bayne, I'm still waiting for her to get a title shot. But, you know, as of right now, you know, she's in the tag team division with Penelope. So again, you know, if Thekla can get a title shot, at some point Megan Bayne will get it too. But as of right now, they're continuing to build her up. But okay, listen, just be patient. Megan Bayne is going to be in that line at some point. But, you know, again, you know, we still got to be patient with these people because, you know, again, you know, you guys want to just push and push and push, but you don't understand that, you know, some things take time. I mean, Kyle Fletcher is finally now getting his push because now that he's, you know, the TNT champion, he could, you know, finally do his thing. So, you know, we just got to wait for everybody else. But, you know, you got your future talent right there. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. But, you know, you just got to but y'all got to be patient when it comes to that. But at least, you know, Tony is building, you know, some people, you know, versus with Triple H, he ain't building none. So, you know, we can just leave that alone. But we're going to continue with the video, but we definitely need to have a discussion on, you know, which PLE is going to get the most impact. So, let's just continue with the video and then we'll talk about it later.
However, the point is with WWE is that they've had years to build stars. They have the developmental program of NXT. They have Evolve. They have LFG. They have all this money pumping into these NIL deals and this deal and that deal and The Rock's deal and Triple H's deal and this deal and that deal, all this other nonsense, right? And they still cannot build new stars. Imagine if your show centered around what? Drew McIntyre, Tiffany Stratton, and Rhea Ripley. That's centered around those people because Cody, Roman, LA Knight, Orton, you know what I'm saying? You have Cena, obviously, etc. All those people are all like 40 or at the very earliest, like 39 to 40 range or older. They have nothing to offer you besides cheap nostalgia and older legends. That is exactly why when Cena and obviously Roman Reigns, you know what I'm saying, etc., all these people walk away. CM Punk will probably retire in the next few years. Same with Orton, etc. Once these people leave, it's absolutely over. It's over. And so this is WWE not only admitting defeat like I referenced last week, but it's also them admitting that they can't book with the current roster. Get someone new and who can actually book the new current roster, or you know what I'm saying, like at least the younger talent to develop some stars, or do something different. Montez Ford should be going on a singles run very soon, I believe. And you know what I'm saying? Because him and Dawkins are probably going to break up. And maybe they can actually figure out a way to build Montez Ford into the star that he has the ability to become. But outside of that, I'm looking around at this roster. I'm trying to really understand what do they have in the future in the pipeline. After Cena retires and Roman continues to be part-time, what do you have? Well, like, Seer, can someone please in the comments, I'd love to know, what do you actually have when Cena and Roman walk out of here?
I mean, like, you have, you know, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, you know, you have, you know, Trick Williams, Obafemi, Brian Breaker, you know, Bronson Reed, Penta, let me see, you got Dom, obviously, I mean, you got the Creed brothers. You got, of course, Montez Ford. Carmelo Hayes, Ludwig Kaiser. Of course, if we got to think about some more, Javon Evans, Jada Parker, Lash Legend. You know what I mean? Lyra Valkyria. Hopefully Tatum Paxley. Steffi Valkyr, Ia Sky, Bianca. I'm just thinking about the women, but also, you got DIY. Let's see. Sean Spears. Josh Briggs. Shoot. Trying to think of some more. Ricky Saints, you got him. And then, there's plenty more. Of course, Maya May, aka Blake Moreau. Soruga. Dang, there's so many women. But Ethan Page, got him. And then Miles Bourne, but it's gonna be a minute for him to come to the main roster. But same with Lexus King, it's gonna be a minute for him. That's all I can think of right now, but yeah, you got them. So yeah. So yeah, hopefully they'll come to the main roster and do some good, But Jordan Grace, got Jordan Grace, got Ivy Nile, we got Jesse Jane, hopefully Phelan Henry and Jasmine. But yeah, that's it right now. But and Zyra, yeah. So it's gonna be a minute, but yeah, you got them. And also Hank and Tank and Dark State, so you got them. Yeah, then you got Stacks too. And then Tony D, if he ever come back. Izzy Dame. Laura Weiss. Yeah, you've seen Laura Weiss, so yeah. Roxanne Perez, Raquel. Naomi, if she, come back. So Jimmy Fatu, the Usos. Of course, you got Sami Zayn, but nobody cares about him. So, who else? Yep. That's all I can think of right now. And then Logan Paul. So, yeah.
I'm genuinely curious. Your viewership is already tanking. The only time you can get a boost is if Roman Reigns decides to show up. And if that doesn't happen, you can bet on your PLE being absolutely just unwatchable, even though it is going to be unwatchable whether he's there or not at this point with the booking. But still, no one's going to care. You have no care factor, no wow factor. All they have is shock factor at the end of shows. And that's why you're in the situation that you're in right now. And obviously, with all this stuff going on and with ESPN now charging $30 plus for this is just ridiculous at this point. If you actually think that spending $30 a month to watch WWE's PLEs that have 5 matches on them and poor builds and bad week-to-week shows leading up to it, if you think that $30 price is going to be a consistent thing that fans are going to continue to pay month over month for the foreseeable future, you are mistaken. This is going to blow up in WWE's face. Fans are going to give up on this $30 deal because if you think about it, let's just look at this year's shows, okay? And I want to just bring this up. Let's look at Royal Rumble this year. Was Royal Rumble worth $30 plus to watch it? Was it worth it? No, in my opinion, it wasn't. Was Elimination Chamber worth spending $30 plus on to watch it? In my opinion, it wasn't. You had a good men's chamber match, a solid match there, and then Cena turned heel. The Cena heel turn segment, they literally published that like the day after on YouTube or like a few days later. You can find that on many different avenues if you want to watch that segment because that was the only main notable thing that came out of the show. Then on top of that, what else was there? WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 were both absolute garbage in my opinion. Yeah, you had like 3 or 4 good matches out of both nights combined, but that's not good enough to spend $30 $40+ on a WrestleMania, and I'm only walking away with 3 or 4 good matches and an awful build leading up to the show where I was invested in none of the storylines. Then you move on from that absolute disaster, which most fans did not like WrestleMania because it was not good. Then you had Backtrash. Backtrash came out. You had 5 matches. You can't even name me 3 of the matches that took place on that card. The only thing we remember is Orton and Cena. Everything else is a wash. Nobody remembers it, and nobody cares.
I mean, you got Lyra versus Becky, you got Pat McAfee versus Gunther, and you also got Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. And we all remember that match. And then, of course, we had the Fatal 4-Way, but I ain't going to speak on that. That's why I didn't even put the picture on here, because nobody cared about that one. So we're going to leave that alone. But let's get back to the video.
Then we move on from Backtrash. What do we have next? I think we had Money in the Bank. Or no, we had Saturday Night Main Event, that counter-programmed AEW show, I think it was that month. And again, Saturday Night Main Event was forgettable garbage. Goldberg had... No, that wasn't even... I don't even think that was Goldberg's last match. It may have been something else. But still, whatever happened, happened. Whatever the Saturday Night Main Event was in May, it absolutely sucked. Then you also move on from that, you get Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank was complete garbage and forgettable nonsense that nobody cares about anymore. You had a meaningless tag match with Cena, and fast forward, he was fighting Cody and Jay there. Jay then lost his world title. Logan Paul disappeared for a month, and then Cena and Cody literally were shaking hands a couple months later on SmackDown, so none of that mattered. Then you move on from Money in the Bank. You then got, you got Night of Champions. You can't tell me anything important that happened on this show besides Cena versus Punk's match.
Well, this was an important match to me. That's the reason why I watched it. Because Raquel is on the PLE by herself, having a one-on-one standoff with Rhea. So, of course, I was going to see that. But even if it wasn't Rhea, I would definitely watch it. But, hey, because, I'm a supporter of Raquel, and I'm a supporter no matter what. So, to me, that match was important.
That's literally it. Then you move on yet again to another Saturday Night Main Event with Goldberg's retirement match. I already established this earlier. This show sucked. Then you move on again. You got, SummerSlam was both nights. This show was bad in my opinion. Many people say it was mid. I think it was awful. There was maybe a couple good matches. The main event with Cena and Cody was a lot of fun. It was pretty cool. And the Lesnar shock factor was just dumb and made no sense. And we haven't even seen him since. Then you move on from SummerSlam. And what have we gotten since? We had, what was it recently, man? What did we just get? I don't even remember what we just got. Clash in Paris. That's right. Trash in Paris. Trash in Paris was largely bland and forgettable and garbage. The only thing that mattered, and that was anywhere near watchable, was the Sheamus and Rusev match, which we have already seen that just without weapons, and then obviously Cena and Logan. Outside of those two, everything else on the show was either mid or absolutely awful, like the Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella match. This is what I'm talking about. All of those PLEs I just named you list by list, every single one of them. You're telling me that, which one of those was worth $30? Which one? Be honest, which one was worth $30? And now you're going to charge $30 going forward and try and lean on nostalgia? Nostalgia bait? Is this what we're doing at this point? I mean, listen, it is done. Triple H can't book a good show. He can't build characters. He can't build new stars, and he can't build intrigue week to week. And that is why you have to lean on nostalgia, and you have to lean on cheap pops and shock factor, because you have nothing in the current state of the company, storyline-wise and character-wise and intrigue-wise, to get fans invested. And because they can't get invested, those $30 memberships for ESPN that they think they're going to get, they're not going to get them, or at least they're not going to have them for much longer. And that's the bottom line, because CJAX said so. Thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out in one love.
Well, obviously people are going to watch AEW, but again, they might hop over to WrestlePalooza, but I don't know how people are going to watch it if they can't afford to watch ESPN on there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how this is going to go, but again, I do think, them pushing the hour back to 3, it's kind of like, okay, well, I mean, that's cool, but still, I mean, every other PLE is like 3 o'clock anyway, so it ain't no big deal. But the biggest deal is, can All Out go all out on WrestlePalooza? Because either way, it's on the same day, so the competition's still there. So you said they ain't going to go head-to-head, but they're on the same day. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe that AEW is going to get the same results. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that WrestlePalooza will probably be mid, probably be average, but, again, the only way it could be great, like Evolution, is if Shawn Michaels is booking the show. Because if you just got Road Dogg and Triple H, you already know the show gonna be, it's gonna be dang, I was gonna say something else, but it's not gonna be good. I'll just say it like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the match card is great, but the match itself sucked. Like Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch. That match should have been good, but instead it became a botch fest. So, but me personally, we all would have liked the match if there was no botches, but unfortunately there was some botches. You know what I'm saying? So the main thing you got to do is just get a better bookkeeper. So in order for you to have a great show, you gotta call Shawn Michaels. That's my only option. Call Shawn Michaels. You know what I'm saying? Call Shawn Michaels and see he could book these matches. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you could book John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, but when it comes to the mixed tag team match and the women's match like Io Sky versus Steffi Valkyrie, you have to do the right thing and actually, another thing too, the NXT women are, they're gonna face Charlotte and Alexa for the titles. So we can get that at WrestlePalooza. You also got to think about that as well. Think about it. The NXT women get to face SmackDown champions, and if it happens at WrestlePalooza, that's great because then that way we could get a big match for the NXT brand, right? I mean, that would be really great to see. One of the ladies be in the match against Charlotte and Alexa, because then that way that's a big moment. Can you imagine if the calling like Izzy, Dame, and Tatum win, and then they get to face Charlotte and Alexa at WrestlePalooza? That would be a great thing for them because now they get to wrestle against wrestle against two women that they consider legends. You know what I'm saying? So that would be great, especially for Fatal Attraction. Like imagine if Phil and Henry and Jasmine, face, the champs at WrestlePalooza. That would be great for them because if they win those belts and they bring it back to NXT, oh, we lit. We lit, baby. We lit. Either way, it don't matter what team, like Sol Ruka and Zyra teaming up to go against, it wouldn't matter. Either way, it would be dope. Either way, it would be dope. But would they be able to take the belts off them? Nah. I mean, if any team is going to take the belts off them, it's either going to be Rhea and Io Sky or Raquel, Roxanne, or pretty much Lyra and Bailey if they ever decide to team up. The Bookie Warriors, I don't think they ever going to take those titles off them, but again, we're still waiting, so we'll see how it goes. But like I said before, and some in the videos I said before, in order for these bookings to be great, you got to get rid of Triple H and you got to get rid of TKO. That's the only way to do it. So as long as you're still dealing with them, WWE is nothing, and while AEW is working on something. So, like I said, if Triple H and TKO is still there, WWE is going to remain the same until it decrease to the point where it's like, they might not be able to do TV deals just because of how low it is. But I'll figure out a way how to bounce back. But will they be successful next year? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I want to talk more, but I'm getting tired. So y'all get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new. I'll catch y'all in the next video, all right? All right.